Hey guys, what's up? It's Duncan here, Cage fan. It's my first album review in like a week or so. I've been going through some shit lately, so I just figured I'd do an album review. And this album review, if you can't tell from the title, I'll be reviewing the new Meshuggah album entitled Koloss. Now, if you're not familiar with Meshuggah, leave the video right now because you're seriously like fucking up. Anyway. Meshuggah is like kind of a progressive death metal band from Sweden. They're very known for their odd time signatures in their songs, polyrhythms, you name it, and claim to be one of those bands that kind of coined the phrase gent. Because you hear bands like, like Periphery, After the Burial, bands like that, like basically using the style of riffs that they have, and I mean they do a very good job of it, but nobody pulls it off better than Meshuggah. I mean, Meshuggah is the best at what they do, and nobody can mimic that or play it even as good as they do. This is the follow-up to 2008's Obscene, and what do I have to say about this album? It's probably their best album since Nothing, which I really liked because it was so ridiculously heavy and just balls out crazy. Not balls out crazy, but just like really just like ridiculously heavy. I mean, the guitars were so crunchy on the Nothing album, and everything about that album just rules. This album is no exception because it kind of has that freaking the crunchiness to it. It's a very heavy album. Very slow paced sort of album. So through some of it, I mean, they released a couple songs before the album came out, which was "Don't Look Down" and "Break Those Bones." I can't even read the whole entire. Hold on. "Break Those Bones," whose the news gave it motion. "Break Those Bones" kind of was not that, really nothing special to me at first, but then like listening to it more, I got more into it. "Don't Look Down" is definitely one of my favorites on the album. "I Am Koloss" is pretty much a pretty, it's a pretty good opener for the entire album, and then kicking into songs like "Demon's Name" is Surveillance. I can't even pronounce that word for some reason. That was actually it's one of the more faster paced songs in this album. It's definitely one of my favorites. Some of my other favorites on here is that one, "Don't Look Down," "Behind the Sun," the "Hurt That Finds You First," "Swarm," and "Demiurge," if I'm pronouncing that one right. Sorry, I'm just looking at my computer because I don't feel like grabbing my CD and looking at the titles. I'm kind of lazy like that. Yeah. So yeah, those are basically my stuff. Basically my favorite songs in the album. Guitar wise, nothing short of anything like. Once you hear those riffs, you know it's Meshuggah. It's like hardly missable, in my opinion. Still crunchy, downright heavy. Follows that sort of pattern in every song. The bass is pretty audible, not too audible. I mean, I'm not saying it's not audible at all, but it's pretty damn audible in this album. Like it has been before, because all Meshuggah albums, in my opinion, have been pretty bassy, like production wise, I guess. Yen's vocals are just as aggressive as they ever were. I don't know how the hell he does it. It's just seems to me that Swedish bands really put out good stuff. I mean, look how many awesome bands are from Sweden. And then last but certainly not least, Thomas Hake. If Hawk or Hake, I don't know how to pronounce it, but me being a drummer, he's definitely one of my favorites because he's one of the few drummers out there that makes me want to quit playing what I do. Because he's just too damn good at what he does, and I envy him for the skill that he has. His drumming doesn't let up on this album at all. I mean, his drum work on Swarm blew my mind. I mean, the polyrhythms in that song were just ridiculous. that's hence why it's my favorite song on the album. It's definitely one of my favorite Meshuggah songs, period, along with like Bleed and all that stuff. Because Bleed, Bleed was my introduction to the band, and I can't play that song on drums at all. Like I've attempted and I can't even play the first minute of it. Those kicks, man. But that's last album. But yeah, this was a very good. This was very good, solid drum work from Thomas on this album. I just couldn't get enough of this album. It might be in my top 5 of 2012. I know it's early, but it could happen. We don't know. If I were to give this a score, I'm probably going to give this a 9 out of 10. And honestly, I mean, this album was better than I expected. I thought it was better than Opposite, honestly. Yeah, that's my score. I really want to go see these guys, but they're going to be in Massachusetts like the weekend that I'm probably going to be in Ohio for Rock on the Range, which I'm kind of bummed about, but it happens. But yeah, anyway, that's just my review on the new Meshuggah. Some of my fellow reviewers like Count Blagrith, Absent Productions, Cover Color Nation, they've all reviewed it. I'll put their links in the description. Oh yeah, and Mr. Cannibal's work. How could I forget Johnny? Jeez, one of my best buds in the reviewing community. Probably my best friend beside Brendan. Anyway, yeah. So their reviews of those album reviews will be in the description once I get to that. I think Moonlapse with Pethian's going to be reviewing that too, so you should check his out as soon as that's up. So yeah, anyway, that's my review on the new album, Meshuggah, called Koloss. I will do another review soon, and see you guys. Keep it metal.